Good morning, good evening. I'm DrChe, and today we will discuss some writing tips. So you can see this is a purpose written by one of my students. So let us read it. Mr. Smith requires your professional assistance for his ongoing neurological symptoms which are getting worse with time. Okay, which are getting worse with time. So let us see. First of all, this is a purpose, and the diagnosis of the patient is multiple sclerosis. Okay, diagnosis is multiple sclerosis. Okay, and another thing is, and what we want from the reader is further assessment and management. Okay, so now let us read this again. Mr. Smith requires your professional assistance for his ongoing neurological symptoms which are getting worse with time. So what is the main issue of the patient and what we want exactly from the reader is not clearly mentioned. Okay, so mostly, can anybody tell me what we write in the purpose? There are two things that we write in the purpose. Anybody remembers? Anybody who is live with us? Anybody remembers what we write in the purpose? Two things that we write in the purpose. Anybody remembers? Any doctor, nurse, or pharmacist remembers what we write in the purpose? Two things that we write in the purpose. Two things, okay? So always remember two things that we need to mention in the purpose. Number one, what is wrong with the patient? Okay, that is mostly the diagnosis. Okay, diagnosis are main issue. Okay, so what is main problem of the patient? We need to mention what is wrong with the patient. Okay, aim of refer, that is what we want from the reader. Excellent. And Miss Farah says why we are writing and what we want from the reader. Excellent, Miss Farah. So number one, what is wrong with the patient? What is the main diagnosis? Number two, what we want from the reader. Okay, what we want from the reader for this patient. So two things. Number one, what is wrong with the patient? Number two, what we want from the reader for this patient. Okay, now let us look again. Another thing, let me tell all of you that according to new criteria, if you don't get 2 out of 3 in purpose, if you don't get 2 out of 3 in purpose, you will not get B grade. Okay, no B grade. Okay, no B, no B. Even if your rest of the letter is 100% perfect, even your rest of the letter is 100% perfect, you will not get B grade. Okay, you will not get B grade. Okay, so let us see. You can see here require professional assistant. Professional assistant, what kind of assistant means? Which kind of professional assistance? Okay, number one, ongoing neurological symptoms. Is that clear? Which symptoms, what is the main diagnosis, what is the exact problem? Okay, we need to be specific here. What we want from the patient. Okay, what is the diagnosis of the patient, what is problem of the patient, what is issue of the patient? Okay, sometimes it is not exact medical diagnosis, sometimes little bit, social issue. Okay, like this. So overall, what is main issue of the patient, what we want from the reader? Okay, and what is issue of the patient? Okay, so professional assistance, this is what we want. This is not clearly, not specific. Number two, ongoing neurological symptoms, it is not clear. What kind of symptoms? It can be, let us consider, it can be migraine, it can be stroke, it can be transit ischemic attack. Okay, it can be anything related to our brain. Okay, neurological symptoms. Okay, so what we need to do, what we need to do so what is the main diagnosis of this patient? What is the main diagnosis of this patient? Multiple sclerosis. Okay, multiple sclerosis. Okay, multiple sclerosis. This is the main diagnosis of the patient, and what we want is further assessment. Assessment and management. So how you will write the purpose, the good purpose. Anybody can write purpose for this patient. Any doctor, nurse, or a pharmacist can write purpose here. Anybody? So let us try. Okay. So let us try. Okay. We will start like this. I am writing. Okay. Let us move it a little bit above. Okay. So I am writing to refer. What is the name of the patient? Mr. Smith. Okay. Mr. Smith. Okay. Then you can write age, 45-year-old, whatever the profession is, a 45-year-old, stockbroker, 45-year-old doctor, 45-year-old nurse, something, profession of the patient. Okay. Apart from profession, sometimes you can write, man, woman, like this, male, female, like this. Okay. So I usually don't prefer this, even if it is too much important, then I write. Otherwise, I don't write, age and these things. But it is okay. You can write, you can mention. I'm writing to refer Mr. Smith. Okay. Then there are different options whose signs and symptoms are consistent with multiple sclerosis, who has signs and symptoms of multiple sclerosis like this. Okay. Who has signs and symptoms of multiple, sclerosis. Can anybody write? Okay. Okay. So who has signs and symptoms of multiple sclerosis? Your further assessment and management would be highly appreciated. Okay. So I'm writing to refer Mr. Smith, who has signs and symptoms of multiple sclerosis. Your further assessment and management would be highly appreciated. Okay. Other option is, instead of I'm writing to refer, we can write, thank you for seeing Mr. Smith. Then rest is same. Okay. Rest of the part is same. Okay. Dr. Purvinder says, I am writing to refer Mr. Smith, who has okay, let me copy. Okay, let me copy your purposes. Okay, so that we can, okay, let me copy from, just 1 minute. So first one is written by Ms. Farah. Second one is written by Dr. Santosh, and third one is just one part by Dr. Pravinder. Okay, so I'm writing regarding is okay. Regarding I usually use at the end. Okay, when we are not, sure it is referral letter, it is discharge letter, something like that. Okay, I am writing regarding Mr. Smith, who has been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and being discharged today. I'm not sure it is discharge letter or referral letter. Okay, let me see. Thank you for seeing. Okay, further assessment. I think it is, if it is discharge letter, then it is okay, Dr. Ms. Farah. If it is referral letter, then we will write like this. Okay, I'm writing regarding Mr. Smith, who has been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and is being discharged today. We don't need this comma because we are using the same subject. Okay, we are not using separate subject here. We are not using separate subject here, so we don't need comma. He would require your further assessment and management. That is okay. Your further assessment management would be highly appreciated. Is a little bit more polite, but this one is also good. The way you are writing, it looks, right, like a discharge letter. Okay. Now, I'm writing to refer Mr. Smith. This is written by Dr. Santosh. Refer Mr. Smith, whose features are suggestive of multiple sclerosis. If the diagnosis is not confirmed, in the case notes, then it is okay, suggestive of. If the diagnosis is confirmed, then what we use? Anybody can tell me? If the diagnosis is confirmed, what we should use? If the diagnosis is confirmed, what we should use? Whose features are? So let me tell these two things. So suggestive of, whose features, whose signs and symptoms are suggestive of when diagnosis is, okay, not confirmed, okay, is not confirmed, okay. Like for example, let us see, whose diagnosis is not confirmed. uh, mostly if you see the case notes, they will just write a question mark like this, question mark, pneumonia, okay, pneumonia like this. So no, it is not confirmed, this is not confirmed, okay, question mark. So we will use suggestive of, whose features are suggestive of. If the diagnosis is confirmed, then whose features are, whose signs and symptoms are consistent with, okay, consistent with, okay, then it would not be with question mark, okay. So consistent with and uh, consistent with are suggestive of, depend upon this confirmed diagnosis or possible diagnosis. So be careful, okay. So whose features are, as we I have not have case notes here, so we will just consider whose features are suggestive of is okay, okay. Multiple sclerosis, your further assessment management would be highly appreciated, that is okay. This is just, this is not wrong because the student is writing, quickly. So I'm writing to refer Mr. Smith, who has suggestive symptoms of. This is, you have written, Dr. Pravinder, you are not, bad student, you are very good student. So you have written in hurry. Okay, I will not mark it because it is written in hurry. So we can improve it. I'm writing, so let us write, when students are writing quickly on Facebook, then they write short forms. I am writing to refer. So just let me tell one thing, as we have just noticed, I am writing. Can anybody tell me what is called this when we skip A and we are using I and apostrophe and M? What is called this in our grammatical language? Anybody can tell me? This is called contraction, okay? Contraction. So we should avoid the contraction, excellent, okay? So in OET, we should avoid contractions, okay? Contraction a little bit less formal way, okay? Less formal way, we should avoid it, okay? So I'm writing to refer Mr. Smith, Mr. Capital, Smith Capital. Then we need a comma here. Who has suggestive symptoms of, no, this is not who has suggestive symptoms of, who has, let us say, who has signs and symptoms suggestive of, it's, if it is confirmed diagnosis, then consistent with, okay, suggestive of multiple sclerosis, okay. And I'm writing to refer Mr. Smith, who has signs and symptoms suggestive of multiple sclerosis, like this. So there are different possibilities. I'm writing to refer Mr. Smith, who has signs and symptoms of, symptoms uh, consistent with, okay, consistent with multiple sclerosis, or suggestive of consistent with multiple sclerosis. Your further assessment management would be highly appreciated. So if you see in this purpose, there is something wrong, okay? I have written it intentionally. What is wrong in this purpose? Anybody can spot out what is wrong in this? What is wrong in this purpose? Anybody can spot out? Anybody can point out what is wrong? Who has signs and symptoms of multiple sclerosis? Okay, I'm writing refer. Who has R where Dr. Nurul Ghaffar where capital letter Dr. R where R. I'm writing reference with who has signs and symptoms consistent with multiple your father has memory. There is no problem of R. Where is the problem of R? R consistent. Who has, okay, doctor, these are two ways. Dr. Nurul Ghaffar, let me just copy here. This is one way. This is one way. Who has signs and symptoms consistent with multiple sclerosis. Other is whose signs and symptoms are consistent with multiple sclerosis. Okay, multiple sclerosis. Okay, like this. Okay, these are two ways. When we use whose signs and symptoms are consistent with, are suggestive of, then we use are. Okay, whose signs and symptoms are consistent with. Okay, are consistent with. When who has signs and symptoms, it's also other way. So both are correct. Both are correct. Both are okay. So and gender, were gender. I'm writing reference with gender. I don't know what you mean, Dr. Romy. And other thing, other mistake is multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis. Okay, multiple sclerosis. Why? Why it is mistake? I have told all of you many times why it is wrong. Why it is wrong? Anybody can tell me? Okay, Mr. Smith, what is happening with Mr. Smith? Okay, that is good point. Let us take one of the doctors told me that this is a mistake here. So she is saying that there is mistake in Mr. Smith. Okay. Okay, excellent, excellent. Dr. Farah, Dr. Parvinda, Dr. Noman, excellent. All of you, Dr. Humaira, all of you, excellent. Okay. So we use name of the patient in name of the disease in capital when the name is given after someone's name. Okay, someone's name. Can anybody give me some examples when we write this after someone's name? Any disease name that is after someone's name? Any disease name that is after someone's name? For example, Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease. Okay, and Alzheimer's disease, Down syndrome. Okay, Down and Downs both are okay. Syndrome. Okay, so you can see, so some people write down, some people write down, only down. Okay, so Parkinson disease, just notice one thing that is very important. All of you should notice, only first name is written capital, Parkinson's is written capital, Alzheimer is written capital, disease, syndrome, and disease, they are written in small. Okay, in small, in small. Okay, so if general names of diseases, common names, general names like hypertension, diabetes mellitus. Okay, so like this, uh, Guillain-Barré syndrome, syndrome. So if name is general, like this, hypertension, diabetes, Guillain-Barré syndrome, then we will write it in capital, in small. Okay, if the name is given after someone's name, then we write in capital. Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, Down syndrome, so in capital. Hypertension, diabetes, Guillain-Barré syndrome, so all of these things we write in small. Okay, any questions so far? So Dr. Farah says Steven Johnson's syndrome. This is also written in capital. That is good. I have made one mistake intentionally into hypothyroidism, all of these things. So there is one mistake in this part that is in front of screen. There is one mistake. Can anybody point out what is the mistake here? Anybody can point out what is the mistake here? No, let me just be a little bit more specific. What is mistake here in this part? There is some mistake. I have made it intentionally. What is the mistake? What is the mistake? Okay, nobody can point out. What is the mistake in this part? In this part. Excellent. Okay, excellent. Okay. I'm not sure about spelling. I'm not sure about spelling, but it should be capital. Okay. Guillain-Barré syndrome is, given after someone's name. Okay. It should not be in general names. It should be here. Okay. It should be here. Okay. G capital and B capital, and we need a hyphen. Okay. Okay, we need a hyphen here. We need a hyphen here. Okay, let us see the exact spelling. It is not okay. Guillain-Barré syndrome. So we will write it G capital, B capital. We need a hyphen here. Okay, so please be careful. Okay. Another thing, multiple sclerosis, we will write in small. Okay, multiple sclerosis, M small and S small. Multiple sclerosis would be in small. Okay, let us make it small here. Multiple and sclerosis should be small. Okay. And some of you, GBS, okay, should be capital. A good word, good question, a good question. Okay. So MS, GBS. Okay. So another question, somebody told me that Mr. Smith is wrong. Mr. Smith is wrong. We need dot after Mr. Okay. Somebody is telling that we need dot here. Okay. We need dot here. Dot. Okay. Full stop here. So my answer is both of these things are okay. You can write with dot or without dot. Both are okay. Both are okay. Both are okay. But be consistent. Okay, be consistent with. If you want to use without dot, use throughout your letter without dot. Okay. If you want to use with dot, use throughout your letter. Whenever you want to, for Mr. Smith, Mr. Smith, Mr. Smith, you will use name of the patient 4, 5, or 6 times. So whenever you use name of the patient, write it in capit and with dot or without dot. Okay, so be consistent with one style. Okay, don't sometimes use, sometimes don't use. This is not good. Okay, be consistent with one style. Be consistent with one style. Okay, use it or not use it. Okay, so be consistent. Okay, so another question was, somebody asked me, can we use, so before we go there, I am Dr. Che and I have marked, if you say thousands of letters, it can be okay because I am not saying wrong. I mark, daily, on daily basis letters, and all the work that I have done so far is done by myself. There are a lot of my students you can see in the class. So as you know, all the letters are marked by myself. If you disagree with me, you can write in the chat. If you get feedback from somebody else. So I'm not satisfied with, I can take more students, but then the quality would not be the same. Okay, so all the letters are marked by myself. So I have marked hundreds of letters and many students have passed with me. So my WhatsApp number is given below in the comments, and my Facebook page where I usually go online and with free classes. This one is also one of the free classes. So you can like this page and you can join our group for more tips. Okay. So somebody asked me, so we can use this one, multiple sclerosis. If for multiple sclerosis, we can use abbreviation MS. For Guillain-Barré syndrome, we can use abbreviation GBS. Okay. So when you write GBS, we need to write G capital, B capital, S small. Okay. When you write complete name, when you write abbreviation, we should write all capital. Okay. GBS, all capital. Multiple sclerosis, we need to write a capital. Okay. M capital, S capital. If you want to write diabetes mellitus, D capital, M capital. If you want to use hypertension, H capital, T capital, N capital. Okay. Like this. Okay, so these are the things. Any questions so far? Now let us move to the reading part. So let us move to the reading part. Any questions so far so that we can move to the reading part? Any question? Okay, abbreviations are written in capital, that is okay. Hypertension, diabetes, CVA, cardiovascular accident, IHD, ischemic heart disease, CCF. Okay, all of medical abbreviations are written in capital, and common medical abbreviations like BP, blood pressure, these things we can use in our letters. Okay, don't worry about these things. So any questions so far? So let us move to the next point. So we have VIP hybrid course for doctors, nurses, and pharmacists, and only writing correction is also available. Speaking feedback is also available. All things are done by myself so far, and I hope I am preparing on reading part. So we will, and so soon I will provide reading course also. So now let us close this recording, so it will go to my YouTube channel. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, you can subscribe to my channel. There are a lot of videos about writing and speaking and other reviews of my students. So you can subscribe to my channel and just give some good comments. So thank you. So now those doctors who are with me in free class, let us move to the reading part, a little bit reading tips. Thank you. Thank you everybody for watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much.